So, considering there is not much of a fight going on now at the front of the grid, Verstappen has won the championship a few races ago now. Red Bull Constructor Championship secured, but there's not a lot going on at the front of the grid that I haven't already spoken about. However, there is actually a fight brewing a little bit lower in the field. And when I mean lower, I mean for last place in the championship. And of course, I am talking about the fight between Alfa Tauri, Haas, and Alfa Romeo. Now, quite a few people would say maybe Williams are still in this fight. However, unless there's a crazy race where one of the Haases, Alfa Romeos, or Alfa Tauri's getting a podium, Williams are on 26 points, Alfa Romeo are 10 points behind them, it's not going to happen. So I don't think Williams are in this fight no more. They have 7th locked down. However, 8th, 9th, and 10th are up for grabs. So first up, we have Alfa Tauri, currently 10th place, and they've got 10 points. Wow. Basically, form-wise, they're actually the hottest out of the bunch, which is why it's so exciting at the minute. Because there's a 6-point gap between them. Can they get to Alfa Romeo? Can they overtake Haas? I believe they can overtake Haas, because Haas are only 2 points ahead of them on 12 points. And considering Alfa Tauri have had 7 points since Italy, I think it's doable. One more good result from them of coming 8th or 9th, and it's theirs. However, with the car they have at the minute, basically they need what happened in Kota to happen multiple races. Tsunoda was going to get 2 points anyway, but he got 5 because of the Hamilton and Leclerc disqualifications, and that has brought them right back into the fight. So it's going to be difficult for them, but especially with Tsunoda's recent performances, I think he'll pull it off for them. Maybe even Daniel Ricciardo will get involved a little bit as well. So, Alfa Tauri, 9th. Haas are currently 9th with 12 points, like I've said. However, they are the least informed team at the minute. They've scored a single point since Silverstone, which was about the halfway-ish point of the season. Really worrying. And it's because of everything we've already said, isn't it? I've spoken so many times about their race pace, with their qualifying pace actually being decent, but they're just terrible. The car's terrible on the tyres, and the car is just terrible in general anyway, which does not help. So especially with some of their points coming very early on in the season, it just doesn't look good for them. I doubt they'll be able to get a massive result leaping Alfa Romeo, and unless they're super lucky with Alfa Tauri having loads of mistakes, loads of crashes, maybe they can hold on to 9th. But for me, I'm predicting them 10th, but it's going to be tight. Because even if they don't score, Alfa Tauri need to score, and this season, with Astons, McLarens, Mercedes, Ferraris, and Red Bull, and Alpine technically, all faster than them, there isn't much space in the top 12 unless you have a super drive, or someone crashes, or someone gets disqualified. Like what happened for Alfa Tauri with Tsunoda, that was due to him having a good drive, plus Hamilton and Leclerc getting disqualified. I would also like to say, funnily enough, there's quite a trend going on as well between Haas versus McLaren. Now, you wouldn't expect me to put those two together, but they got most of their points, 11 out of the 12, in the first half of the season, when McLaren were actually worse than them. And like I've said already, with so many teams being decent this season, there's not many positions in the top 10. So that one extra team being there all the time has really hampered Haas. So it's quite funny that the nail in the coffin actually might have been McLaren and their massive upgrades. And then we move on to the final team, Alfa Romeo, currently 8th with 16 points. I am predicting them to stay there. However, it's going to be very close. I could very easily see Alfa Tauri pulling another good race and being right up there. Again, Haas, all they need is just one good race. Maybe even a sprint race. We've seen with Hülkenberg at Austria in the Red Bull Ring, the sprint race, he could just about hold on because it was a shorter race. And if they do what they do in qualifying and get like a top 5 in qualifying, it's potentially there for them to get the points. But yeah, the reason I say Alfa Romeo for 8th purely is because of the 4-point gap and the 6-point gap to the Haas and the Alfa Tauri. It'd be quite hard for those two teams to gain on them. And obviously in Qatar, they had a very good result, getting 6 points, which basically almost secures them that 8th. Not just yet though, because we never know what could happen. So we'll just have to wait and see who is faster out of the 3 in the coming races. So what do you guys think? For me, like I've said, I believe it's going to end Alfa Romeo 8th, Alfa Tauri 9th, followed by Haas in 10th. But put down in the comments down below who you guys think are going to come 8th, 9th and 10th. And I'll see you next week for some more F1 related content. Have a good week. Bye bye.